very happy new year to you all. Welcome to 2021, well, at least on the way show. First edition for this year, 2021. How did the Christmas and the New Year celebration go for you? I hope it was well, as it was with me. Loves to eat, loves to drink. Well, yeah, promise I didn't overdo it. Okay. Welcome to 2021. Welcome to the Way Show. My name remains Wole, and it's brilliant to be with you again. First edition for this year. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. If you're first time watching the show, do subscribe to the show and take your time also to look at our past editions. Okay, we've had brilliant people come on the show in 2020, despite all the coronavirus, and then we've had loads of interesting people come on the show. So take your time, have a look at the previous editions, and obviously join us on the journey as we commence today, 8 p.m. GMT. Okay, YouTube Live is the way show. Today I've got two very interesting people with me. One of them you've seen on this show before, probably twice on this show, and the other one obviously making his grand entrance to this show. So we're going to be talking about something very unique that's coming up to your screens, obviously in 2021 and 2022. We're going to be talking more about it today. So I guess tonight, first is President CEO of HITLAB Incorporated in Canada. His name is Michel Zgarka. And obviously we've got CEO of Africa Sports Ventures Group, Leslie Koroma, who is also a friend of his program, joining us to talk to us today about some very interesting things coming out of collaboration between the two of them, coming out to your screens, and obviously to Africans, and obviously Africans in diaspora. Bonsoir, Michel. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Yeah, I want to try my French today. Okay, comment ça va?
Ça va très bien. You're doing fine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Michel. It's so nice for you to join us. Leslie's going to be joining us later. I think he'll probably just drop off due to some technical connections. So we're just going to be obviously talking to Leslie at some point. Michel, tell us about HITLAB. I mean, when I was doing my research on your company, I found something very quite interesting about it. So some very well known face as a board member in your company. I'm talking about no less a person than Akon, who is a board member of your company. Tell us about your company and tell us about what you are into.
Okay, well, HITLAB started initially as a R&D company entirely devoted to the music analysis using our own patented and proprietary technologies. We have thus created two brands, one called DNA for digital nuance analysis, which basically scores any song in any language, any musical genre against what makes up the DNA of a song. Then, after getting a ranking, you're also getting a list of similar songs that have either made the same type of rankings or have achieved popularities on charts, whether they're on Billboard or on radio charts. So through our mathematical system, we can rate anything, anytime, and we do it quite fast since we're able to analyze up to 100,000 songs per hour.
Wow, up to 100,000 songs per hour. That's brilliant. And before I just let you go, and before I just talk to Leslie to talk about the issue of today, the other thing people probably do not know about you is that you're also a filmmaker. You've had some films that you've produced and probably directed. Tell us about that.
Well, yes. Okay, now I'm, as you said earlier, the president and CEO of HITLAB, but my career, which spans, close to 40 decades very soon, I have been in every aspect of the media industry or show business. I started off as a fashion photographer, rapidly moved to music at the disco era, having worked with the likes of James Brown, Donna Summer, Grace Jones, and whoever made up the cream of the crop of the disco world. From there, I moved to film and television, with always keeping music in the back of my mind and being very close to whatever would be either the film score, TV scores, or publishing in the music business. So I also took a very little time off to write scripts and eventually direct, co-direct, produce movies and TV series, including animation. The last one I was executive producer is a famous animation feature film stemming from a clip done for children called Gummy Bear, which was done in partnership with YouTube and which has, over the past years, got over 6 billion views. So I've been, in almost every aspect of everything that makes up the music, TV, and film industries.
That's brilliant, brilliant. So, well, it's an honor talking to you today, Michel. And so I'm going to bring in Leslie now, and obviously we'll talk about the next big step, okay, which obviously yourself, Michel, and Leslie are collaborating on. First and foremost, Leslie, welcome to this show, and it's so nice to have you on the show again. Leslie,
Thank you, Wole.
what's going on with this new baby of yours? Tell us about it. I want everyone watching and listening to hear from the horse's mouth now.
Well, yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate being here once again, and I'm pleased to be speaking to your audience as well. Well, our major objective is to grow the sports industry across Africa and to position it for success on many levels and build capacity around it to where it has the right value to it, So, and that sounds kind of I don't know the word to use, but I don't think there's any need to apologize for what we want to do, because it's important that some of us step out of our comfort zone to do that. And one of the areas that we felt like we had a significant deficit, is in the connection between the sports industry and the music industry, the entertainment industry. For many reasons, the sports industry in Africa seems to be in a state of, I would say, flux, sort of, because it doesn't seem to have a connection to any other industries, like a standalone industry. It really, and so for that, in many reasons, we feel like it's underperforming. It's not reaching its full capacity, if I would say that. We estimate the sports industry in Africa to be potentially less than $5 billion. And I'm being a bit generous there. I usually used to elevate it to a point where I say about 10 billion. But we know that the scope of the global sport industry is about $700 billion. And when you look at a fully developed sports ecosystem in other parts of the world, you see where they intersect with so many other industries. Obviously, there's the hospitality industry, which definitely benefits from sports in Africa, even though I would say even that it's still a level of underperformance. Then you have the transportation industry, airlines, buses, whatever, you name it. And this peripheral industries that sports is supposed to benefit. And now we have this significant connection between sports and music. And most times people go to stadiums, and one of the things that you experience in stadiums is the public announcement system where music is always blaring. It's in the background, and it's kind of mixed in with the experience that you have at the stadium. But what we haven't done successfully is how to engage the music industry in Africa and how to connect that with sports. I usually hear the statement, "Oh, you cannot take what's in the West and bring it to Africa because it's not the same." But I take serious exception to that because it's not when we talk about sports, sports is not a Western thing, it's not an Eastern thing, it's not an African thing, it's just sports, period. That's it. That's it. So I don't know where people come from with this concept of, oh, that's a Western concept, or this is an Eastern concept, or whatever. When we talk about sports, sports is entertainment. It's a universal language. In fact, it's more for universal language than music, because music has linguistic barriers. While sports doesn't. Sports is movement. It's something that people sit and watch and they understand. On a typical night at the FIFA World Cup final, billions of people sit behind their TVs at home, around the world, in Japan, in Singapore, in South Africa, in the Sudan, in Argentina, in the USA, and they watch the same screen. They're watching the same people perform. What is different there? What is Western about that? What is Eastern about that? So I just want to put that to rest, first of all, because I keep hearing this same funny rumbling in the background about this is West and this is this and so on and so forth. But for us, basically, it's about how do you enhance and grow the space? How do you bring capacity to the space? So for us, I mean, it was a no-brainer when me and Michel connected that sports and music has to intersect in Africa for it to grow. So we seized on the advantage right away and say, you know what, this is a huge opportunity, because we've been talking about that for a good while before I even bumped it to Michel. And when we talked, basically it was like, wow, it's a natural synergy. This is just something that it's supposed to be, because this is what we want to do. So we definitely talked about a number of initiatives that we will collaborate on, partner on, and push to kind of get the sports and music industry working together, kind of start to gel together. I've heard Akon on a number of stages talk about the music industry in Africa, and making developing the music industry in Africa, and what he's been doing on a number of fronts. Yeah, music is a standalone, very there's a thriving industry in Africa, yeah, but it could be better. It could be 10 times better than what it is. And the avenues to promote and develop talent could be even more enhanced than that. We feel like it's a natural fit for us to have the music industry where we have talents who are performing to be at perform at sporting events. Because I'll take the example of the Super Bowl. I know some of the folks who are listening probably might not want to hear this, but it's a reality. Like I say again, sports is a universal language. So let's talk about one of the best possible examples of where artists are promoted to the maximum level. The Super Bowl, which is American football, which happens every year, is coming around now, sometime in February. And every year they have this massive halftime performance where artists, even if you're known, but you're not that well known to other communities, you might be a rock and roll, artist that's legendary to rock and roll listeners. You might not be known to people who listen to rap or other kind of genres. But once you get on the Super Bowl stage, the whole world gets to know who you are. The whole world gets to know who you are. So that's the stage. That's the level that we're pushing to get folks to understand that for the artists, first of all, it is a good stage for them to step to be to promote themselves, to elevate their connectivity to their fans and fans they never had before. And then secondly, for the sports industry, it starts to enhance the experience of sports. Now you're looking forward to not just a football match happening, or a basketball game happening. We're expecting this extra side performance, which is going to come on during the event to take place, and which is going to enhance the experience. It's just going to enhance the experience, and that's what it is. It's by enhancing the experience. Where you go through an emotional roller coaster when you're watching a football match or a basketball match or whatever it is, and you add music to it to get you amped up and good to go. Even it makes the experience a whole lot even better than what it is. Music is that it's that personal soundtrack to it. Just like in the movies, you're watching the movie and it takes you through this emotional, up and down through the movie, whether it's a sad situation, whether it's a happy situation, whether it's whatever it is. There's a musical soundtrack in the background of that helps you to accentuate that feeling. So in sports, we need to get that. We need to bring that into focus. We need to get that involvement out there, and we need to get the artists in Africa, across Africa, to understand that this is a game changer for them. This is something that's going to help them to take the careers to another level. Because this collaboration with HITLAB is unique, and we expect as two products that's been launched. One is a DAS, the Digital Emerging Artist Showcase, and then we have the Africa Song Contest. And these are two to which all artists are invited to enter into. We invite them to enter into both competitions because it only expands their horizon. The opportunity that's going to be exposed. They're going to be exposed to. For us, the African market is really critical, but our scope of coverage or inclusion doesn't just limit it. It's not just for within Africa. It's global in scope. So anybody can enter the contest, for the Africa Song Contest. And same way with the Digital Emerging Showcase.
Leslie, before we go into the African contest, there's obviously let me talk about and this is you, Michel. Let me talk about the Digital Emerging Artist Showcase starting in Africa in February 2021. Where is that going to be? I mean, considering we are in a very unique era at the moment. We've got COVID around and what have you. So tell us about that. Where is that going to be? What does that entail? And the other question, the other part two of my question is this. What did Leslie say to you to sell this idea that you just took it? I mean, it's I've known Leslie for a while now, and I know he's brilliant thoughts about where he wants to take sports to in Africa. What was his selling point to you that brought HITLAB to you to partner in this lofty ideas so far?
Okay.
So tell us about the Digital Emerging Artist Showcase first.
Okay, the Digital Emerging Artist Showcase is what we call the democracy of music. Our company is devoted to show that talent anywhere in the world, in whatever language and any musical genre, can achieve success. Since we are totally digital, virtual element organized company, and that Aecon is one of our main shareholder and a member of our board, it was natural for us to start the international rollout of the DAS in Africa. So first thing we did, we looked at who are the main players first in sub-Saharan Africa, and as we roll out the rest of Africa. So we immediately teamed up with Boomplay and with Trace. And based on those major companies and the fact that they've immediately agreed to help us launch the showcase and thus show that incredible talent is there and yet not known in Africa, we would be in a way a stepping stone to show the world how quality talent in many languages is there. Then I started looking, who are the other important players in Africa? Luckily, I stumbled onto ASVG, and I did a basically a blind call to Leslie, and after I think a few minutes, we found that we had many common ideas and a very clear understanding that sports and music not only work hand in hand, but could further show the talent initially in Africa. So the first step we did, I told Leslie, okay, we're launching the DAS. Thus, we'll have an amazing number of incredible talent from Africa. Why don't we find a way whereby we provide you any music you need, whether it be the theme songs, music within the event, or further on the TV shows that Leslie is going to put together, and let's do basically a joint venture. That led to what we are now officially doing, ASVG events slash HITLAB, uh, a full collaboration, and of which we are extremely proud to be part of. Working with Leslie from day one has been extremely smooth, and every time each one of us brings new ideas, or people on either side of our teams bring ideas, both Leslie and I almost immediately agree on the path to take, and we are quite certain that not only in 2021, but in many years to follow, we will find major talent from Africa, which will become major talent around the world. So the way it's going to roll out, in February, we're starting with Sub-Sahara Africa. The months later, all of Africa. A month later, Brazil and Latin America, and on, in order to cover the world within 8 months. Each really continental or phase of DES is 6 months process. So in February, we start, let's say, with Africa. Phase one will last 6 months, and on for every added country. But that doesn't mean that someone from the Africa diaspora cannot enter the Africa DAS. Once it is open, our landing page and links to the DAS are available. Anybody who wishes to be part of it and who has a platform, we will thus create, specific landing page for each one of them. So with Leslie, we've already identified not only in Africa, but outside of Africa, but also very keen on further showing the talent of the African diaspora that anybody anywhere in the world can bring to the DAS and to the Africa talent showcase as well. The many talent, everywhere in the world that initially were somewhere from Africa.
Hmm.
So,
Leslie.
Yes.
Leslie didn't say anything special. It's just that I think we immediately found that we both think alike, and we are both very favorable and forward thinkers about talent does not only stem from one or two countries. It is worldwide, and it is also the best element for unity and for peace. So that's what we're
Thank
working
you.
on.
Yes, brilliant. So Leslie, we've got two events upcoming at the moment: the African Song Contest and obviously the African Empire Warrior.
Mhm.
It's so fascinating. I mean, because for me, as a student of history, and I'm still a student of it, and I do like my African history to bits. Thinking about you talking about people representing their past histories, the great empires of the Mali, of Ghana, Songhai, Benin, Axum, Carthage, and all that. Really very interesting. Why did you
Yes.
decide to go that path I mean, having people to represent the past, in order to know the future. Why did you decide to go that path? And tell us about what the plans are. And I know you're going to, I think it's going to be hosted by the Liberian government or so. Tell us about all that, and tell us what you hope to achieve by all this.
First of all, we bring a good number of things to the space, and like I said, it's the sports space is now limited to just football and basketball and cricket and you name it. Sports is just something that has a variety of different things that that we have to understand has a broad scope of possibilities there. So we feel that with African Empire Warrior, that it's important that we expand the scope to include things that which were never thought of. So I thought about this whole thing from the start. The whole concept of the show was initially it has a baseline sports factor to it, but the most important thing is what else could we add to it that will enhance the experience. We'll put it in such a way that will make it a unique experience for people to not just enjoy the show, but also get educated in the process whilst at it. So there's entertainment value, there's educational value, there's like I said, the physical fitness and all this stuff, which is a product line in itself that will connect to on so many levels with so many different individuals, with so much more out there. We want to entertain from the youngest kid to the oldest person. So how can we do all of that together in one space? And this is what brought into play this whole concept of African Empire Warrior. Now, the concept of the empires, how did that come into play? Well, sat there and kind of played around with the whole concept of the show for a while, and I felt like there has to be a way to which we can infuse knowledge and the history of Africa into what we're doing. Because they said if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're headed. So you need to know your history, So for us, for me, at this point in time, as I was crafting out the concept or the idea on how to put the show together, we stumbled upon the name, and so I was like, that's a natural fit in terms of how we want to do this. There are many empires that existed back then in Africa, ancient Africa, before 1884 Berlin Conference, which split Africa into its current geography. But what we decided was, okay, we want to entertain people. We want to include as many Africans as possible. So what we're going to do eventually is to have all the African countries represented at this show. But at the same time, how do we juxtapose all of that together with the competition, the format? So it just happened that we thought about the empires and said, okay, well, these empires had warriors. They had many major warriors back then, and what was it for them to get themselves ready, to be fit, to be able to perform their duties? And so and that brought into focus the sports side of it, because I felt like, how rigorous was their training, and how could you take that concept and look at what we have today with all these CrossFit shows and how that fits in, and how you can entertain people, using the concept of what they used to get themselves ready and fit to perform in the field of battle or whatever duties they were assigned to, and how that fit into what we call the whole show concept itself. So I felt like we could take the whole concept and split it into stages where, once we are at the concept of taking people through this competition and going through the eliminations of the athletes who are going to be representing the different countries, how are we going to educate people in the process? So we decided, okay, well, stage one, we're going to have 12 stages, right? 12 stages in the competition. Well, this is a projection. It may not be limited to 12 stages. It might be more than that. But the only thing is we say, how do we sort out how do we sort out?
I think we probably just lost Leslie there, and we'll try as much as possible to reconnect. But whilst Leslie trying to reconnect to Leslie, we're just going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break and try and reconnect to Leslie. But before we take a quick break, Michel, so what HITLAB is going to do now is obviously, like you said, going to provide all the soundtracks and whatever you to the whole process. Then you've got the African Song Contest that's coming up too. Is this actually open to up and coming musicians in Africa? It don't matter if you've got an album out or singles out somewhere. Is it open to virtually every person there out there in Africa to showcase the talent in this African Song Contest?
Yes, well, the DAS, as it stands, is a digital emerging artist showcase. So it is open to anybody. You don't have to be, an established artist. It is really for emerging artists, and not only any emerging artists anywhere in the world, but also in any languages and any musical genre. So there isn't any stop, any barriers. Anybody who feels he has an original song that is done, professionally, he can sing it into his phone, his tablet, or on the DAS platform, and thus participate. And I saw also one other question from some of your listeners. How does the DAS relate to sport? Well, the DAS itself, as I mentioned previously, is a showcase. And what we're going to do for the event that Leslie's companies are doing, we're going to create theme songs for the event. But also, depending on the sport, we can create virtually any type of song according to the sport, to the demographics, to the culture, and so forth. Because as I had earlier said, our technology is based entirely on what makes up a song. Just like, when you go for a blood test, you're tested against the DNA of your blood and whatever your doctor is looking for. Our technology is based on the DNA of what makes up a song. We don't bring in any opinion. We don't bring in any personal feelings or any good or bad sentiments towards the song. We just analyze it as for the pure quality of the song itself. So anybody can enter, and vis-a-vis sport, it is a perfect fit to see how we did it a few years ago for the Boston Red Sox, who were looking for a new voice to sing the national anthem at Fenway Park and on national television. So they created a contest, the Boston Red Sox, powered by HITLAB. Between 8,000 to 10,000 people entered, and the 4 best sang in front of the team, and the team chose the one they felt was the best, and she sang at Fenway Park on national television. So we're basically replicating this, but to millions and millions of people, and with not specifically one sport, one culture, one musical genre. Anybody can have the same chance.
I think I probably might be giving it a try myself, although I've got a very croaky voice. I don't know. We will see. But just to let everyone know, anyway, it's open to anyone. Okay, just like Michel just said, It is open to up and coming artists. If you've had an album or single, whatever, is open to everyone. Okay, so we'll be getting more on this program as time goes on. But before we go on, we're just going to go on a quick short break. Okay, and when we come back, we still got Michelle here, and Leslie will be rejoining us. Okay, stay
And
there. Don't move. We'll be back soon.
Wally, when you start, maybe you can put the little teaser I sent you.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you, Michelle. So we're going on a quick break now.
Okay. Mostly in Africa, but all over the world. And they're both going to advertise, promote, and talk about the Digital Emerging Artist Showcase from day one. At the same time, we have also teamed up with other platforms all over Africa, and then the same all over the world, which will also put our landing page and link to the DAS within their own platform, thus making sure that nobody is left out and everyone can actually be knowledgeable about the DAS. Right now, we're talking to local radio stations, newspapers, magazines, to also collaborate and make sure that everyone has access to the Digital Emerging Artist Showcase.
Okay, hopefully, maybe at some point we'll be talking about you having access to our people watching our shows every Sunday too. Hopefully, so yeah, we obviously we've got quite a lot of comments coming in about the what we've been talking about so far. JK is saying it's very exciting. JK asked a question about how it relates to sports the other time. People are already getting charged up, looking forward to this, Michel. It's looking like a fantastic opportunity, fantastic project. And obviously, you can see some of our people commenting on the show already saying what they love about this trailer and what have you. So, at the end of the day, what do the artists that have submitted entries, what do they stand to gain at the end of all this?
Okay, the objective is that the best of the DAS will be aligned to meet all of the key people in every facet of the industry. We have teamed up with production company, labels, distributors, tour promoters, tour organizers, and the big management company. And one of our other division, HITLAB Publishing, will help them secure publishing deals. Also, the possibility of having their songs sang in other languages and pitched to other artists. So everything is in place for not only to get all of those new talent, major visibility, but also make sure they get monetized and gain in every aspect possible and be recognized.
So if you're watching and you think you've got a talent, okay, quite unlike me, no, I can't sing, but if you know you've got the talent, you know what to do. You know, this emerging artist, I mean, you stand to gain quite a lot for yourself. Make sure you stay tuned and obviously be on the lookout. Your local radio stations, local newspapers, and obviously we'll be giving you updates here too as soon as we can. Let's go back to the African Empire Warrior. You were saying, okay, obviously talking to us about it before we had a technical glitch about it. So we were saying, you were saying that the whole idea is obviously to learn about our past, looking forward to our future.
Yeah. Sorry about the glitch there earlier. I just got distracted there in a significant way. But yeah, African Empire Warrior is a show that's here to showcase Africa's past while entertaining, folks with athletic performance. Because for folks who have seen shows like the American Ninja Warrior or UK Ninja Warrior or Australian Ninja Warrior or the Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Titan. This is along the model of what we're building. It's a show that's strictly a performance thing that is supposed to allow the contestants who are going to be. We're going to have contestants from all across Africa. 4 contestants per country for a significant and hefty prize money of $100,000, which is huge. That's a chance of a lifetime for any young man or woman to get a head start in life. So we're looking at having contestants from every four contestants per country, 2 males, 2 females, to represent their country. But in the showcase, basically, the idea is for them to go through 12 stages of competition, and each stage will involve a set of obstacles in it. Whether it's you climbing something, or you jumping over something, or you scaling, you climb. it's a variety of different things. It's going to be exciting by what we present it eventually. So the whole idea is each stage represents for us. We decided to have each stage represent an empire, and in this case, we just want to showcase what it took for a warrior to qualify to be a warrior back then. And so we'll put our contestants from all of these African countries together to qualify through each stage. They will go from stage 1 and to stage 2, stage 3, all the way to the 12th stage. Now, what is it about? How are we going to get these contestants? How are we going to eliminate them from stages to stage for us to get to the ultimate Africa Empire warrior in this case? And that will depend on how we set the sequence of how we're going to go from stage to stage. But what's important here is that we are going to have each stage represent an empire, and in this case, we'll get a chance to showcase that empire as it was. For example, stage 1 will be the Benin Empire, and we'll talk about the Benin Empire as it was, the history of it, the culture of it, the food of it, how the people existed back then, what their achievements were in this case, and we'll talk about some of the famous people in the Benin Empire back then, the warriors that existed back then. So this is the whole concept behind the show, and so everybody out there in the world will get a chance to understand a little bit of African history. To go from stage 1 to understand about what the Benin Empire was, you go to stage 2, you get to understand what the Ghanaian Empire was about, and all the way to the final stage. So in the process, we're not just entertaining with athletic performance and a variety of different things, including the soundtrack, which is going to be powered by HITLAB as well. But also you get a chance to learn a lot about those empires as they existed back then. And so the young as well as the old, and a lot of misinterpretations that are out there about Africa will get to be put to rest as it pertains to those empires. Those were significant empires that had a very strong impact on the history of the world as we know it. We know the history of Egypt and as it was, and all of that. We know Carthage, where one of the greatest African generals, who was the only man to actually bring the Roman army to its feet, to its knees, actually. Hannibal Barca from Carthage, the Carthaginian general that conquered Rome. So these are things which are not very well known, but we need to project them. I know recently we had a couple of years ago, God rest his soul, Chadwick Boseman played the Black Panther, represented the fictitious kingdom of Wakanda, and we have real empires that existed back then, not just Wakanda. We have the Songa Empire, with Malayan Empire, the Zimbabwe Empire, you name it. We have all of those. So people need to know this, and this is a chance, an opportunity for folks to get to connect with all of this. So that's what this is. And then in the process, we have this Africa Song Contest where we want to project and present, have artists in Africa alongside with the DAS. We have this Africa Song Contest where we're looking for those who will are able to capture the essence of Africa and bring all that together. And the essence of Africa in culture, essence of Africa in its history, essence of Africa in fashion, the resilience of the African people, all of that in a song. You're able to capture that. You know what? We want this artist to be part and parcel of this project, this major project, because we're shooting season 1 in Liberia, and then we're going to move on to other African countries subsequently. Now, artists are going to have the opportunity not just to be. Now, I will say this, because we're involved in the now the music and entertainment business alongside with sports, and we see how a lot of times athletes get to move from becoming an athlete to becoming an actor, or they move into different phases in life. So we're going to present a lot of opportunity to many young men and women across Africa, and so those who are going to be taking part in the DS should also look at taking part in the Africa Song Contest, and we're going to have the top 5 performers, the top 5 ones that we select. They will be performing live at the Africa Day Sports Awards, which is on May 25th, the Africa Day Sports Awards, which will follow our conference. They're going to be performing during that time, and so all of those guys, and they'll benefit from our relationship with HITLAB as well, and they will have prizes and all the other stuff that will be coming their way. So artists across Africa, if you're listening, this is your chance. hashtag the song Africa Song, the Africa Song Contest. The platform will be open on the 15th of February for entries as well. And this is an ASVG initiative. And then we're going to present a lot of opportunities to this artist. And like I said, this is a massive stage for them to get their songs out there, to get known by the audience. We're going to connect them, a lot of them, with sport events they'll be performing at. So it's a chance for them to build a relationship with us at Africa Sports Ventures Group, ASVG, alongside with HITLAB and a lot of other partners as well. So this is a chance of a lifetime for many artists out there, musicians out there, as well as contestants who are looking to come in and win the grand prize at the Africa Empire Warrior. Couldn't be a better time than now with the Africa Free Trade Area Agreement recently launched, And so we're looking at how best we can, can power all this together and put all this together and create opportunities for the young, create many opportunities for so many other people out there as well.
Okay, we're going to take a few teasers, just like Michel was saying. We're going to take a few teasers now. Once it's ready, we're going to take it on. But before we go on, take the teasers on. Once we come back from the teasers, we're going to talk about can anyone enter this? Can people in Africa, can Africans in diaspora represent a country? But before you answer that, let us take these teasers, and then we'll come back and answer the questions.
Okay.
Africa Sports Ventures Group. One Africa, one world. An undeniable torrent of hope, the inexhaustible source of strength, an unquenchable thirst for victory. This is Africa, the greatest story ever told.
That was brilliant, isn't it? I'm already into this, honestly. I thought that was going to end. Leslie and Michelle, again, thank you for that. And looking at that, I mean, I'm already thinking, looking back to, like I said to you, as a student of African history, it's bringing back memories. Like it was just like I lived back in those days, And I think this is really a very nice idea, and hopefully it goes on well. Leslie, we were saying before you left, is this
Mhm.
open to every person of African origin, or is it just limited to people that are living in Africa? Can Africans in diaspora also apply to be on this show?
Well, we want to be as global as possible with this show because we don't just want to limit it to just Africa, So, um, the core concept, because we can only really, because of the concept of auditions, which are very expensive in this case. We're geographically we can do auditions within Africa, and which is in itself an expensive proposition in itself. To do global auditions, because you're talking about physical auditions in this case. Um, so the ones that are coming, folks who might be coming from overseas will have to go through uh, a different type of auditions. They will have to, travel out to a location that will prescribe, because obviously this is a physical contest. Besides the entertainment value, the historical side of it, the presentation, and all of that, folks have to go through the physical qualification. So folks have to be medically qualified to be allowed to be to, or because we don't want the issue of liability when stuff happens in this case. So we have to be cautious about that. So it's an attractive a program for folks to get known around the world, to be the winner, the first winner, the second winner, whichever it is. All those who participate will definitely have a following of fans for their countries. No, but the reality is they all also have to meet the requirements, the medical as well as other requirements as well. This is a great vehicle for promotion for anyone who has ambitions or whatever. We live in a social media world where each of these individuals might end up having 100,000, 200,000, million fans. Who knows? At the end of it all, after the end of the show, their performances on the show. But it's open to everyone, pretty much, around the world. We'll sort out the qualification process as it pertains to those coming from the diaspora internationally, but we don't want to limit people from participating in this contest. But our core market is Africa, the 54 nations in Africa. That's our key focus, first of all, before we look on the outside.
Michelle, I suppose this event would also be on TV live. How are you guys working towards ensuring that this is possible? I mean, we've seen some other shows, especially the so-called biggest one in Africa at the moment that usually comes up every year. That is always obviously on TV. So, is this going to be on TV? And what's the HITLAB's process of ensuring this is going to be?
All right. The DAS is structured like a typical TV show. Instead of calling them season 1, season 2, and so forth, we're calling them phase 1, phase 2. Each phase will last 6 months. Each continental phase will last 6 months, to be more precise. When we launch phase 3, it will coincide with the launch of our own TV show called Man versus the Machine, which is basically a music format TV show alike all the others, except we will not need or require the participants to travel and stay where the show is being taped, because all of the participants, especially once we start the TV season itself, every week the participants will be the best of the global DAS from phase 1 and phase 2. So the major difference between our TV show and all the others is that, one, all the participants will be able to sing in whatever language they want and whatever musical genres they want. The other thing is that, unlike every other existing show, we will not be geo-localized, which means the participants in our TV show, whether it be in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, or in America, could be the same, because the aim is to show global talent. Initially, starting with Africa, but then once the global rollout is done, then we will have contestants, participants, people who have somewhat, you know, shown amazing talent in the DAS participate in our TV show. And the TV show will also be season one, season two, season three, and on as we progress. Hopefully, this can be going on for years and thus show the amazing availability of talent all over the world.
Hmm. As we round up, Leslie, again, same question I'm going to pose to you. African Empire Warrior, is it going to be something that's going to be on terrestrial TV? Is going to be there 24 hours a day? People are going to be allowed to obviously vote for that for winners or whatever you. Is it going to be tailored to that, nature?
Yeah, definitely. TV is a must for, because this is a made-for-TV program. In fact, we, of all other programs out there currently, sports-wise, I think we have the best opportunity at kind of imitating or copying or piggybacking off what the NBA did with the bubble in Orlando, and when this coronavirus was really at its peak. Our show, even though it has a fan component to it, where fans are allowed on the set to come and cheer on the contestants. The whole concept here is that we have where we can bring all the contestants together in one location, and in the process, you can only have one or two contestants at one time going on the course. So which means the other contestants will be in the stands and sitting on the sidelines, and they could form the cheering fans that we might not have, just in case we have to shoot at a restricted time when Corona might still be around or the COVID-19 is still around. But we're hoping that it will be gone by then. And so we have this is made for TV. Like I said, it's made for TV. So we're looking at distribution for across, not just within Africa, but across the world as well, because this is an very entertaining concept. Sports entertainment fused with the historical context of putting things together, where people get a bird's eye view into history, and then get a chance to understand and know who these great warriors were as well, besides the contestants who are contesting to win a grand prize. So it's made for TV. The juxtaposition of having sports and then this entertainment concept together is really something. It's not something that's brand new, but we're trying to take it to a whole new dimension with what we're trying to do with fusing the historical context of it and bringing all these great warriors back into play, and getting people to connect with those as well and their history, so they can feel proud of who they are and where they're from. So yeah, the whole thing is made for TV, terrestrial, satellite, as well as we're going to look at streaming as well. Yeah, streaming as well. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So we're working on a number of fronts right now to position ourselves to make sure that we have the delivery platform for fans around Africa and around the world to connect with this wonderful show. Obviously, we look forward to the partnership with HITLAB as well to power the soundtrack, which will be very innovative and very interesting to capture, basically capture the fans and their interest in seeing this whole thing as it happens, and they enjoy the experience in the process. while it's happening. So we look forward to the whole thing. But it's made for TV. It's made for TV. It's made for viewing on different platforms, your tablet, your phone, whichever. So we're going to try to make sure that we project it as much out there as possible, because this is not a local made for production. This is for the rest of the world. We have to project it to the rest of the world.
Yeah, if I may add, to what Leslie said, HITLAB will be there, every step of the way to help Leslie and the TV show. My background is producing TV shows, so whatever Leslie needs in that regard will be there, and my team will be there to bring very innovative music, but also for worldwide distribution, production, and so forth. We are going to work very closely together to make sure everything that stems from HITLAB and ASVG is always the best of the best.
Well, thank you both, and well done to two of you. I was fortunately was part of your press conference. I was on your press conference the other day, and we went brilliantly. Thank you. So, like I said, the Way show is always available for you. So hopefully we'll be at some point play a part. It is wonderful innovation that you're coming up with in the world of entertainment. Leslie, thank you so much for coming on the program. We wish you all the very best, and we'll be keeping tabs with what is going on with the shows that you're coming up with. And obviously, Michel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And hopefully we should be playing the teaser for the African song, even in the course of this year, before the show, before the event itself. We are obviously very much a partner with ASVG, and we will be obviously playing that as soon as we get anything from you guys. Michel, merci beaucoup. À bientôt.
À bientôt. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Leslie, it's nice talking to you again. Hopefully we'll bring you on this show pretty soon again, and we'll be talking more about this event. Thank you also for coming on the show.
You're very welcome.
I was about to say Merry Christmas to you too. Sorry about that.
It's not too late either. It's still a season. Yeah, we're still locked away in our homes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming on the show. So that's the show for today, the first of 2021, and obviously we so delighted to have Leslie and Michel come on the show to tell us about the wonderful ideas that God concerning entertainment in Africa. You know what I'm excited about this, because this is about the first time everything they've said, will be in the public domain, and it's so good that it's coming to you by the Way show. It shows you we're going places. If you're not following us, better start following us now, because well, it was so brilliant, talking about it. Like I said, we will be bringing you more updates on these two beautiful ventures that these two guys are coming up with. So that's the show for today, and I want to say massive thank you to everyone. I mean, we had quite a lot of people watching the show today, and thank you to Randy Brothers. Randy, I don't know where you are watching us from, but wherever, thank you so much for watching the show. Musa, thank you. JK, thank you. Bumi, Marvin, Sandra, as always. Dion, happy New Year to all of you. Hope you have a better year this year. Mick, Doreen, quite a lot of people, are tuning into this show today. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to tell someone about this show. Make sure you subscribe to the show, okay? Subscribe to the show and tell someone about us so they can subscribe to the show. Next week, we'll be bringing you someone special on the show, someone who obviously is excellent, and we'll bring someone, whoever. I don't know. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag now. We're just going to bring someone to you next week, and please keep watching the show. And hopefully you have a wonderful week ahead of you. And what can I say? I keep saying have a Merry Christmas. I'm sorry about that. Have Happy New Year. Despite everything that's going on with the coronavirus, I hope it's going to be a better 2021, much better than 2020 last year. Actually, Randy is Executive Vice President of HITLAB. Thank you, Randy. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you. It's so nice to have you on the show. So that's all the way in the United States or Canada, if I'm correct. So thank you for coming on the show, and thank you to you out there watching the show for today. Have a very wonderful week ahead, and have a good night. See you next week. Bye.